begun because we are being recorded. We're going to start with a roll call vote, or sorry, we're called to order. And then we'll do a roll call vote. We'll start with Michael Griffin.
Here.
Sue Polidura.
Eva Boyce.
Didi Forte.
Susan Sterry.
Sauce Brooks.
Okay, that's out of the way.
Carry on.
And Carrie.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carrie. I wish. Hi. I should sit this way so that I'm looking at. Next time I will. Approval of minutes of July 7 is not going to happen because we don't have a quorum, but that's okay. We can still discuss issues at this point because it's in a public setting. I want to do a headstone cleaning update. I've received 4 people who are new people who are interested in joining us on Saturday. Some of them were husband and wife team, and I'm sure I'll get 2 or 3 tomorrow. We usually do. So that's exciting. I gave a brief report at.
And you got applause.
Oh, did you see it on? We got applause. It wasn't just me. It was we got the applause. Yeah, Suzanne had said. Suggested that I get up and do like one of those 3-minute things just to let the council know that we actually cleaned all of Point of Graves. I call it POG all the time now, POG, Point of Graves. So I did throw it together, and just briefly I told them that we had finished cleaning it, which is 112 headstones. I thanked Corin. I thanked the water guys by name, Mark, Jason, and Fran, because without them, we probably wouldn't be as far and they wouldn't be as clean as they're coming out. To date, we've cleaned 405 headstones altogether, and we've had 32 different individuals who have, as volunteers, participated. And some of those people have shown up at every cleaning. So we're really doing a good job. Starting out slow, but getting it done. So, and I thank Stephanie Secord for posting online for us and doing follow-ups. So that was the one thing, but we did get applause, not for me. We got applause for all that we're doing. The other thing, since we're on Point of Graves, I might as well just go ahead and do, where's Point of Graves? We covered this last meeting where the Friends of South End, oh, that was the other thing. I recognized them, and I recognized the Elks also at the meeting as being group volunteers. The Friends of South Cemetery, or the South End, asked for us to look into the sunken wall. I finally, just yesterday, got a hold of the people that do the testing, and by that will dig test pits of soil, have it analyzed, and also, depending how deep we go, which I haven't met with her yet, we may hit water. A lot of people are saying it's only 2 or 3 feet deep. Before we hit down there. So it's been hard, but I'm excited. And it's a local, well, it's a large company, but they have people here in the area. And I also talked to an archaeologist who works with them, who works with graveyards. So it may be coming together rather soon as far as what it's going to cost and when it can be done and what we might find out. So that's on the plate right now for the Point of Graves.
Is that something that's going to come out of whatever money we have budgeted for the cemetery? Or?
No, that'll all be determined later once we know what the actual cost is and if we're even going to fix it, any of those things. But depending on what the price is, it may come out of our budget. But as you can see, Suzanne is going to ask for the official numbers of what we have left. So that will all determine. But at least we'll get the information of what they'll do and how much it will cost, and we'll take it from there. And then the other part, I haven't found a mason yet who is interested in redoing the wall that's fine right next to the garden to recover that. So we're still working on that. So what else is going on at Boyd and Graves? That's it. Been taking up a lot of time, but it's worth it because once we get the wall, at least the wall fixed that we can, I mean, we'll almost be like 100% finished with our first, historic cemetery. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you. John Lord, who is part of New Hampshire's Old Graveyard Association. I did not know this. He's been documenting everything that we do because I write back and forth to him all the time. And he's sort of like my mentor. And he has been posting it in their newsletters that goes out to, I think they have like 300 or 400 members. And most of the people that are involved with his organization, they're trying to work on small cemeteries and get them restored. So we've sort of are now like becoming an example of what you can do for in your community and maybe how to, I don't know how detailed they get, but. So I was really excited when he told me that, or emailed me that, and he also put a notice out that the cleaning was coming this Saturday too, so.
Is that something that we could like do a little field trip with them and go clean graves in one of his grave areas?
No. No, I shouldn't say that. Yes, it's probably possible. But from my understanding, a lot of these, they're like the really tiny ones out that you see on the side of the road. But I will let him know that we would be interested because I think there are a couple of towns up that way, cities that may not be as large as Portsmouth, but they have a lot of cemeteries and they're in trouble because some of them are really falling apart. So I will.
That's a great way to network with all those people. We
Yeah.
all get to meet them and they get to meet
Yeah, let
us,
me put
especially if
that.
they're reading about us.
Yeah, well, it's great. Yes, and you know what? I didn't even dawn on me. I just think about our cemeteries, so sorry. To be honest. So I will ask him about that for next time. So that's it with Point of Graves. What's next on the list? The city website map update. It's coming along. All of a sudden, it's like, bam. Alan Brady, who is the head IT guy, Jamie McCarty, myself, Dee, and Adam, who is an IT tech for the city, and one other person. I don't know who that person is. We're going to have a Zoom meeting because they've actually already started working on some aspects of putting the GIS map up online. We need to discuss how we want it to look and what it's going to contain. So the map that's up there now will be the same version of the map, but if we pressed on Point of Graves, it can come up with just the information of where the location is, and we could have the list of people that are buried there on the same page, but down there, so you could just press on Point of Graves and I'll pull up the names. So that's exciting, but the other part of it is the intern for the city of Portsmouth has already started entering names on a database for us. So he has Point of Graves, he has Pleasant Street, I think he has North Cemetery with him right now. However, he's also interested, his internship gets done next week, but he doesn't go back to school, so he's interested in continuing on. So we can offer him $15 an hour, just like he gets here for being an intern this summer. And he's fast. So.
Do you know where he goes to school?
Someplace in West Virginia.
Okay.
And he's studying public community service or
Yeah,
public service
yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that. So that's why he's interning, especially he's in planning right now. And I think he's going to code enforcement afterwards, that type of thing. But, so that's exciting news. I will keep everybody updated to see how that goes. and this site, I mean, it won't go up after we talk, but we'll have better information of how much information we do want to go on, or do we want to do it in stages? Just have a click map, this is where the cemetery is, and then just have the list. But make the list searchable all at the same time. So if you type in Michael Griffin, it's going to give you all the Michael Griffins that are buried. Or all
Hopefully
the-
not.
Well, he's got relatives that are Griffins, so it's really quite exciting. And one of the main things that we were talking about, both with Suzanne and a couple other people, is like, we need to own our history. There is so much misinformation on all these find the graves and everything else. It's like Wikipedia, that's what I compare it to, that anybody can go on there, put in anything they want, and that's fine, you know, because people are trying to be good, but it's not going to help you find graves up on South and Sagamore. So I've seen so many misconceptions, they're in South Street. Well, you're never going to find it if you're looking for South Street Cemetery. You have to have Harmony Grove or Sagamore or what have you, or something. And that could even be listed in, I mean, we could do a connection down the line to, if someone comes on and is looking for South Street Cemetery, that it automatically takes it to those 5 cemeteries. I mean, there's lots of possibilities, but we're probably going to start out small, just get the information on there, and then continue on, because we'll be able to add more information. And from what I gather, a lot of communities are doing this type of thing, so. But IT is on board, which is the really big part, so.
It would be great if we can find a way to just click on it and guide us there like a GPS would, you know, go into a place downtown.
That's down the line, that requires a lot of work.
I know, because I've been trying to locate some of the graves with the materials that I have. I'm like, holy cow, it takes me, I had to do a lot of referencing to be able to find it. But
Like, which cemeteries were you, any of them?
mostly the north, because that's kind of,
Right, I mean,
one that
as nice a job they did of plotting that out, it's still not easy to find the
No.
graves in there.
No.
And I'm not sure why. You know, graves don't move, so,
No,
or
you
headstones, I don't think.
the last few that I found, I had the book with all of the different locations, and I had to actually look at somebody else that was near the one that I was looking at, I was looking for, in order to be able to, and it was, I couldn't read it, so I kind of, this has got to be it, and then I did a little bit of cleaning, and so it was.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's kind of a hard tool to follow.
Well, yeah, no, it is hard, but I have no concept of individually going down through every headstone and connecting it to
Yeah, I've tried.
GPS connection.
At
and-
least the ones that you can highlight, like I recently found a few people that served with John Landon on this. He had this group that he put together for the Battle of Saratoga, the Landon Light Horse Company. And one of the men that was buried, that went with him is buried near him. And, it took me to find that list
Yeah,
on the archives so I can back it up,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, no, it's not easy, and it's a very popular thing, and there are a lot of companies out there charging lots of money to do that kind of thing, to go down and do the locations, and we have aerial views available of the cemeteries, but to pinpoint,
Find someone who likes to do geocaching.
well, that, yeah.
What is it?
Geocaching? It's like, it's a GPS adventure where you go and find a specific GPS location that someone else has set up for you.
Yeah.
And then there'll be like a little egg with like a toy car or $1 or something, and then you put something else in, and then you go find the next one. But it's a very specific pinpoint.
Kids love it.
Yeah,
Kids
yeah.
love it.
Adults love it too. It's not-
And I also have in regards to this, I have a meeting with, next Tuesday, with June Spazzazo. Does that ring a bell?
No, it doesn't.
Sepazzo. Sepazzo. She actually worked with Louise Tallman.
Oh, my God.
And she said in her email that she did have some GPS coordinates and that she had listed, it must be her private database. But she's really excited to meet with us, and so she could really be a big plus to this, the mapping and all of that, so.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I might be able to talk her into coming onto the committees. But she just wanted to meet and just generally talk about what she has and stuff like that. So I, next Tuesday, I think, is when I meet with her. So that's what I mean. Everything has exploded about, getting a bigger presence online. And Alan Brady said he thought once it was up, he had no doubts that we would get lots and lots of hits on the site. And they'll connect it to the library, and then we can take it from there. I don't know how the World Wide Web works, and if you put it on places, how you get listed and all that. That's further down the line. So if we want to share it with the world, as far as, out there, historic Portsmouth, this is what we have, blah, blah, blah. So I'm excited about that. So, all right, that's another one down. Get us out of here. Update, headstones. 400th update. Do you guys know any?
I had a thought about that.
Yeah.
My thought was that we should invite them to come. Invite them to a meeting. It's hard to tell where the problem lies because the newspaper and stuff isn't always responsive here. But I thought that I would be seeing things more by now about what they're doing and what to expect. And it's not that far away. This is August. And so I wondered if we invited them to come and, and just give a little presentation about what they're doing and if there's anything they would like us to do or be helpful in some way, or, that would help us in the long run, and because we should be participating in some way, yet.
Had there been
They're
any
just-
kind of schedule? Because I know that we applied.
They have a calendar, yeah. We applied before the deadline.
But I don't
and
think you ever heard from them.
No, and I followed up to see
Yeah, you
if
followed up.
they
yeah.
got it, and a couple times, and they haven't gotten
Yeah.
back to me, so
Then-
I wish they had an office someplace that I could just
They
walk
should have an
in
office
and-
right here.
Yeah.
I asked Suzanne last meeting if they have an office here, but she said they don't, so.
They did post a new webpage, or they totally revised their webpage. And I don't know how I ended up seeing it, but it was just in the last week or so. Something came up from whatever, and it's a new webpage, and it didn't have really anything different on it. There was no like, come talk to us or talk to this person. There was nothing. And I don't even remember if there was just a general information right to, Joe Smith, and they'll get back to you. So I don't even know when they meet. So
I'll do some more research on it.
I was thinking, I think your idea is good. However, I don't think they'll come because we're not important enough.
I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying.
So maybe we should go and get on one of their meetings and go
Okay.
to their meeting.
That's a good point.
Ask to be on their
I
agenda.
agree, we're not important enough, but I just thought if we had it now, if we invited them, or even if
Yeah.
we go see them sooner rather than later,
Right.
because one's going to assume that in November, they're going to be very busy in November and December.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's just say, I think it would be good to interface with them in some way.
Right, so, and that would be great. So if you guys can find out, when the next meeting is, and if it's a doable meeting, then, try to get on their agenda. I mean, even if you can, just go, because you probably get on the agenda anyway.
No, are they
so.
supposed to start the year of events marking the anniversary in January, or
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that? So,
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't particularly notice that they said they had meetings, but I assume they must have.
They're a city
Yeah.
committee, right? So
Yeah.
they'd have to have meetings like, and they'd have to be public like ours are.
Right, yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me do some more research.
Oh, that'd be great. And the other thing is, I just got an email from Valerie. She forwarded it to us about a gentleman from, I can't remember what state, wanted to know if Portsmouth has a live reenactment at Whipple's grave every July 4th. And Kittery does, right?
they don't do it.
Not at our cemetery, but they do.
I do the same thing every July 4th. I read the Declaration of Independence. at
You
North
read it
Church.
uptown, yeah,
But they do it the week before.
yeah,
Kittery does it the week before.
gotcha.
And they do have a reenactor. Hopefully next year we can get that person to do it on the 4th as well, because I don't see any reason. If it is a week before the 4th of July, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be able to get that person. I couldn't get him this year.
Oh, you know who he is?
Yeah,
So, and then, build it up and do it down at his,
I did it in the front, because the kids come in to play music, and there's a lot of traffic in that area. So, we can do a special program for the 400 at his grave. And also on Landon's grave, when it comes to the Declaration of the US Constitution, which is next in September. So those are two events that we can probably work around and do special events. And I may be able to get a reenactor for that.
and so we know who's gonna be in charge of that, so.
Oh, God.
No, you are really, you are gonna do it, no. You have all that knowledge and all that information and all those connections. I mean, you don't have to reach out to anybody, but if you seriously come up with some.
Well, I do have a costume too, so I can
No,
tell you.
and I know that. You have more than one, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, exactly. So, seriously, I would really, and I think everybody, since you're so knowledgeable, do a presentation, put it together, and
I would like to get a reenactor, a Langdon reenactor.
Yeah.
And
we
there's
certainly
a
would.
couple of names that come to mind, but we
Yeah.
might have to book them that far ahead.
And I mean, those are important because Michael and I got into a disagreement the other day at the church, at the cemetery, about Langdon and Whipple. Who signed?
The
What-
Declaration was Whipple.
Whipple, yeah.
The Constitution was Langdon.
And which one brought us into, what number was state of New Hampshire as far as signing
9, and the last one needed.
for which document?
U.S. Constitution.
Yeah, we thought it was Rhode
I
Island.
did. Rhode Island was the last to sign the Constitution.
Yeah. Rhode Island was never
Delaware
really.
was the first.
Yeah, Rhode Island was never the first of many things that had to do with the revolution, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, who said, anyway, it was very
Yeah,
hard that
no,
day.
we were
but-
the last one. Yeah, we were the one that was needed, and John Landon pushed it through. He was the one that got it done because he wanted us to be one of the 9.
Right,
Two-thirds majority.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's what the Constitution required in order to activate it.
right.
That, 9 out of the 13 colonies would
Yeah.
approve it.
Yeah, no, that's why, I'm being serious about you, coming up with your ideas, putting in a presentation and letting us, Is this someone that's interested in us or you?
In recent cleaning? I did it yesterday. Wow, that's sharp.
Oh, yeah, can you pass that around? That's a good example of when we get over to Union Cemetery, what those obelisks and all those can really look like.
The 400th update.
Okay,
Whose grave is that? Whose monument?
John Shagnon.
Oh, I didn't recognize you. You don't look the same as
Look at that scruffy beard.
right?
as on the screen.
were in a committee together years and years ago.
That's right.
That was beautiful.
Pettigrew is the name.
Yeah,
They accepted the donation.
really nice.
The proprietor's cemetery donated, or the trust donated $1,500 towards this mapping. And they did accept the funds last meeting, and we have found a intern that's been working on some of it for the city, but also he hopefully have some more time and
Where's that?
continue on entering
Harmony
it.
Grove.
So,
Harmony Grove.
so,
There's a
you know,
Pettigrew
we may get
in
proprietors.
North,
and-
too.
Anyway, I'll go over the rest of it with you, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to update you about that, so.
Looks great.
Yeah, so, and it will be amazing, because when you walk down Union Cemetery, that walkway is so great, and you don't even notice all the monuments that are there, so cleaning those going down, it would be just like spectacular going forward, so, that's it. Hi. That's okay, I'm glad you can make it. No problem.
I have something about the
Yep.
400. So if we were looking for something that's a little bit more child-friendly, I thought it would be really cute that we could do like gravestone rubbings, like wax paper and crayons on our, now that they're freshly cleaned. You can actually get
Wait.
that imprint.
I think we have to, I know for a fact we have to get that okay, because most rubbings now are banned in cemeteries. And that's because people were profiting off of them. So people were coming in, not just here, all over the country, you know, doing rubbings of interesting or famous headstones, and then reproducing them and selling them. So
What's illegal about it?
people didn't feel it was right that you should be benefiting off the death of someone, you know, and, you know, they didn't necessarily want, not that those people are probably alive, but I mean,
Yeah, people
relatives.
that are done, I mean, headstones are pieces of art a lot of times, and epitaphs are, you know, poems left for the world to read.
Oh, yeah, that's the reason,
Hey,
but I will,
I agree with you.
oh,
I posted something on, there's a Facebook group that's called the Good Samaritan, the Cemeterian. And I posted an example of one of our before and afters
Yeah.
on there, and I got blasted by some woman that said, did you follow the RSA and did you get permission from the family to do that? And
no permission required, yeah.
and that's why I said
But
it's,
it's
you know,
public grounds, it's not a private
it's
cemetery.
public ground, she said, and, you know, she got back at me, and I left it.
But
It was one of those, like, Facebook
Large part
conversations you
of
just.
commerce
It was one of
downtown
those you
Portsmouth
can't win.
is epitaphs and imagery from headstones around here, or around New
Where?
England. Any of the Deadwicks,
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
yeah, I mean, they're
Michael?
rubbings and T-shirts and lots of merchandise, and so, I don't know, to be like, we can't do it, but half the town has people selling that.
Yeah, are they?
It was
are they
totally
our
dark. It was like
cemeteries,
that.
though?
I don't know.
See, I mean, we can look into it, or if you want to look into it through the city, you're certainly, you know, welcome to take that on.
I'd like to interject something, if you
Yeah.
don't mind. The state is very clear on their website, while they don't say it's illegal, they say they don't want you to do it because it causes degradation. And while we are wanting money from the state, you know, I
See,
feel
Massachusetts.
we should, if we're gonna do it, it's something we really, really, really should know it's okay. I wouldn't want the Moose Plate brand people or
Yeah.
any of those people to think that we did that, where it's very clear on the state website that they caution you, and they don't say anything about money. They talk about degradation.
Right.
So that's, you know, that's my concern.
Right. No, I mean, that's a good point, and the other that I've been talking about, I've seen that in other places on, like, in the New Hampshire Old Graveyard, they discontinued it and all that. Again, a lot of it's been based on people, not the real reason, that's true, you know, people doing it and not knowing how to do it correctly without damaging it is a real issue, but also people taking that information and profiteering off of it. So, I mean, we can, if you want to look into it, we certainly can talk about it later on if you get the specifics about it. I'm not gonna, say, don't absolutely look into it. We're here to discuss things, so.
I don't know, I feel like that's a really nice way to get kids involved with, public lands and history there, because, young children sitting through a reenactment they're not gonna pay attention, they're not interested, but I remember just so vividly as children doing gravestone rubbings, and I was really like part of getting to know your history in the area.
Certainly, that's one way to look at it, no question, but, not but, I have to learn to take that word out of my vocabulary.
Should and ought can follow. Take them out also.
The what?
Should and ought.
Oh, okay. Yes, my English teacher. I accept all critiques. The other part sort of goes with reenactment. I mean, we could find actual stories of whatever headstones we have that might be of interest to kids, unusual ones, or, I don't know.
More about like having a tactile activity for children to do is a big difference than storytelling, is what I was getting at,
Yeah.
something tactile for
Yeah, we can
children.
figure something out.
Yeah. Yeah, look into it, and you can get back to us and see what you find out, and then we'll decide. We'll just have to wait to that point. Nothing's in writing right now, so. All right, anything else about the 400th before we?
So,
Yep,
can you-
Karen.
can you, I don't know if anybody can hear me. Can you?
Yeah, we can hear you.
me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was just looking at their website, and on August 5th, they have the Moffett Lad William Whipple Day, highlighting the life and accomplishments of William Whipple, role players, guided tours, activities, demonstrations, and more. I wonder if we could coordinate with them, since we have the gravestone, right?
Yeah, it's right next to Whipple's.
Yeah, but the Moffat Lad House is the one that have kept that gravesite tidy for all these many years, because the colonial dames are the ones that own the Moffat Lad House, and they also take care of his plot. So they may want to do something themselves. Now, is that event for tomorrow, or are you reading for next year?
It's for 2023,
Okay, because I know they have
for the 400.
They have a big event going on the historic homes this pretty soon, if not maybe this
So
weekend.
they have the Twilight Tour. that
Yes.
weekend, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just saying that they, if we could coordinate, or they could coordinate with us, but.
Mm-hmm.
What, I mean, we could certainly look into it. It's,
Yeah.
nothing's taboo, or, I mean, it does not hurt to inquire and see if people
Yeah.
are interested.
I don't think they would mind if we come alongside and offer our help and collaborate. But they're the ones that are the caretaker of the property. The headstone that is in there now, they replaced that a number of years ago. It's not the original one.
So we have a William Whipple in North Cemetery,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
and it's the same guy.
yeah. D1.
But the colonial dames take care of it?
Yep, because they own the house. The Moffat Lad House was his house as well. He married Catherine Moffat, so that's where he lived, that's where he died.
Because Mary
Well, I would
Whipple
think
was
they
a,
would want to know if we were going to do something at his grave. Wouldn't they?
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah, because they may want to participate.
Yeah.
They have his property, so it's pretty much a focus to highlight his life and that of the lads as well, so.
Right.
so Carrie,
Okay.
would you like to take that on and reach out to them and,
Sure, yeah. Be happy to.
okay, I'll put you down
Does
and,
anybody have a contact with them?
They just hired a new director, so you can just call
I
in.
know Paige Trace.
Yeah,
She's,
Page Trace?
so do I, but they just hire someone so you can be the point person for that. New executive director.
Okay.
There's an announcement right there on their website. about
William
who.
Dames, Page Trace, okay. I mean, I'll reach out to them and just say, hey, we're we're looking at doing some things in the cemeteries with the 400th, and we see you're doing something, obviously.
Yep.
Do you want to collaborate in any way?
Okay.
Works, sounds good. What did you say that they're doing? I missed part of it. How did you know that? Is it on their site or on the 400?
Yeah, so it's on the website, which I'm looking at on my phone.
On the 400th website or the Moffett Lad House?
400th.
Oh, is it- oh,
There's a schedule of events. Of
At
all
the
different
house,
kinds of
right.
events. And on August 5th, they're having a day highlighting the life and accomplishments of William Whipple with role players, guided tours, activities, demonstrations, and more.
okay.
We will have to assume the events are taking place at the house, not at the cemetery. So we can do a,
But maybe they could send people over to the cemetery. Like,
Yeah,
if you really
there
like
could be a
this,
part
check out
two.
the cemetery.
there can be a part to it, yeah.
Great. That sounds like another plan.
Okay.
All right, so Sue's gonna think about some things for Langdon and Whipple for the 400th. You're looking into Whipple and a collaboration with the Colonial Dames. So we're on a path. So hopefully it will turn up something for us. Anything else on the 400th? Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, and Celeste is gonna look into something for the kids, maybe wax paper rubbing, so.
You know,
Yeah.
my mind was thinking about that, and when they write these things on the state website, like we discourage
Yeah,
and all that stuff, they don't know what everybody's doing or what we've done or the condition of everyone. I wonder if we found some stones that were not degraded at all, but were, where
Yeah.
where it came up, it would be easy to do because there really was a good contrast.
right.
And just, let them know that.
Well, I mean, that's a good idea. What I was thinking is, once you find out information about how you do it and everything, we have a direct line to the state archaeologist, and he's gonna know and interpret it the way, so we could reach out to him and
Yeah,
say,
and, right.
is this,
It is a
can we
great,
do this
it
this
is a
one
great
time?
idea for kids.
Yeah.
I just don't want to compromise our position with
No,
them. in
I
any
don't
way.
either. I don't think anybody does, so, and where it's a one-time event,
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, all they can do is say no, and then we can just
Right.
punt and find something else for kids to do, so.
Yeah, we can.
So everybody has their assignment, so. Well, seriously, I mean, all we can do right now is gather all the information we can and, mull it over, decide what's what, and then get permission if we need to, and find out what we can and can't do by the end of all of that, so. All right, signage for cemeteries, another project. I'm painfully aware of my public speaking here. The Historical Resources did send a certificate. This is just a copy. The city has the original, and I want to approach Suzanne and the library to see if we can have the original framed and put, at least in the library, in the reference, or where an appropriate place may be. So you can pass it around, because I'm hoping next year that we will go forward with the government grant, certified government program, that there are people there that will write grants for us to get on the registry, that we can include the rest of our cemeteries, Pleasant, Point of Graves, and Cotton. So I would like to find a home to start and I want to find the certificate for the national one for North, and start a home someplace for them that people will see that our cemeteries are on the registry, or on a registry. So that's one signage. Another sign is, or a place to put that, along, when you become a part of the New Hampshire State Registry, there is a company that they use that has, you can pass this that way and that way, that there is an official sign, of course, for everything in the state. And you can go from, I have no idea what prices are. I'm assuming it probably starts at $100 up to about $2,000 if we get them in bronze. So maybe even more. If we are potentially interested in looking into this and trying to get one for our Union Cemetery, another sign to add there so when people are going by, they see, hey, you know, this is someplace you should stop and look. And that's also something we could fundraise if it turns around and ends up being like a $3,000 proposition. And I have to admit, Sue, do you know down at North, is there a sign, which sign is there that says they're on the National Registry? I can't remember.
I think it's a big sign that mentions
It's
it.
the big bronze
Yeah.
one, isn't it? I think.
The green one, or?
I think it's the one that you see when you first go in,
Yeah.
but it could be the green one. I got 'em, you know, it's been a
Yeah.
while since I
Yeah, I can't remember either.
specifically looked for it.
So, I didn't know if anybody would like to take this on just as a research project and find out how much and the cost, and then we can take it from there. And also, I haven't forgotten about the blue signs. I really think there should be at least one large blue sign at Cotton and Elmwood so that we're distinguished. Or we can go another way. It doesn't have to be a blue sign, but to be consistent.
I
But
like
really
that.
think,
I like
yeah.
those signs.
I will do that.
Okay.
I like those signs.
I can give you the information on the company that the town, the city used.
Oh, excellent, good, that'll.
Yeah, I can give you that.
That'll be a good shortcut.
And I didn't know, have you noticed now that we brought attention to our cemetery blue signs, how many blue signs there are all over town?
Oh, yeah, yeah. There's a list of them on
On which site?
the,
Yeah.
some website, I forget which one, but,
Not ours or not in the city?
no, if you just if you, like, Google Portsmouth blue signs, historical blue signs.
It will come up?
it'll
Cool.
come up.
Cool.
And so it lists Pleasant, Point of Graves, Union, and North. I think those are the only four
Blue signs for cemeteries,
for
but,
blue signs, yeah.
but they're all over the place. They're not just.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, so, I mean, that's something to think about if we want to be consistent with what the town has done.
There is a blue sign, I think it's by the Vaughan Mall, Lafayette Trail.
Yeah, and there's a blue one
Good
right on South Mill Pond. They're all over town. There's one down by the fish market on Pleasant Street. They're all over, so.
We have a question over
Oh.
to the right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Stand up and say, hey.
Okay, I would have, so while you're on signs,
Yeah.
I was here to pitch a sign, a blue sign.
Oh, good.
Maybe it would be more inclusive of the cemeteries at Sagamore and South.
Okay.
It's kind of just a mock-up.
Yeah, I think, and we have talked about that we should have
Yeah.
something that designates.
So Cotton's one of them, but you
Yeah,
got some private
right.
ones, but maybe we could collaborate on a blue sign.
Good.
I agree.
That's what I was hoping.
Thank
I
you.
know that Mike is, we've talked about this, Mike and I, and there's extras. So this is kind of just a mock-up with a map,
Yeah,
you know, a
yeah.
map on the left
Yeah,
that shows the location of the different cemeteries.
right.
And then maybe there could be, each cemetery would have information, the name of the cemetery, when it was started, who the owner is,
Mhm.
maybe a brief
History.
history about the cemetery.
Yeah,
They don't have to be in boxes, whatever, and then it could list the city website,
right.
more information. And then I'm thinking, and sorry, I missed your agenda item about the work that's being done with the database,
Oh, yeah.
but, yeah.
You guys, I'm anticipating that we're going to include all the cemeteries. There's absolutely no reason not to. How soon all the names get on there, that's a different subject, because we have to pay somebody. I mean, you've already contributed to getting the names of all the proprietors done and on the database and what information to go in. So we would,
Yep.
like we would go to the Catholic cemetery and ask them, you know,
They
tell
would
them.
release it.
Yeah, and what they want to do. So that's certainly on the agenda down the road, so.
So the rest of this is Sagamore? then?
No, that's the subdivision next door, but we can take that out. That's Little Harbor. I mean, that's Courier's Cove. But Harmony and Harmony is here and here.
Okay.
That should be Sagamore, that last.
Okay,
Oh,
the
yeah.
last one is
Sagamore.
on the south is Sagamore, not
Yes.
another edition of Harmony.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll make that correction.
And I think Cotton goes all the way over
Where's Cotton?
here.
I'm showing Cotton here. That's the play field at the corner.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you might mark
Out of the
that
box
too.
would be Jimmy Rizzo's private property.
Which some of used to be Cotton.
And Elmwood's here.
Yeah,
And then Elmwood, you're right, Elmwood, so that's another one, right? We
Yeah.
need to,
Elmwood's
yeah,
on the back of Cotton.
on the back of Cotton.
Yeah.
So we'll
what,
identify all those. and-
oh, in that square right behind is whose property? Behind Cotton in the field?
That's Jimmy Rizzo's property.
Oh,
And then the city owns from there, straight down to the
Okay.
Harmony Grove. That's city-owned property.
okay, oh. Is that all swampland down in there?
It's wet. The drainage pipe that comes out of the pond goes through it.
Gotcha, gotcha.
But I've seen pictures of it in 1902, when it was probably a hay field, that block of
Oh,
land.
yeah. Well, water tables are rising.
So that is,
Cool.
the original is like this size of the
Yeah,
24 by 30. I don't know if that's the size of the blues, but I'll go measure one and then we'll
Yeah.
make it fit.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's about that size.
Yeah.
So this
We
is some,
can-
yeah,
Yep. So talk about it, we can do things like color it up, or, we'll definitely want to put the city seal, and then this thing of the QR code was, if it's something you want to do down the road, where somebody could take their phone and then it would log them right into the database.
right.
So when they were there, they could type in a name and search a location. I don't know if that's where you're going with
Yeah,
that
eventually.
eventually.
Yeah, eventually. That would be a
Did you get the
big,
program from
yes,
Mr.
Gray, yeah.
Kittery?
yeah. They're using his as a prototype right now. That's what the meeting, we're having a meeting on August 24th with one of the gentlemen, the city IT, Alan Brady, his assistant Adam, that's been working on some of this already with Suzanne.
Great.
Jamie McCarty, because he did the original, he already has a lot of stuff set up. He has the original map that he put on and a lot of backup information. Then Dee and I are gonna meet, it's all a Zoom meeting, to see where they wanna start, how we wanna start, that sort of thing, because we have to not go along, but see what the city's willing to do and what they can do also.
Sure.
Alan was saying that, the idea was, or they thought maybe we were trying to bring in something new, but I don't think that's what we're thinking. We're thinking whatever it is, you, as a city, you already have as software and what you're capable to do. It's just a database, so whatever and they can do all the linking. So right after the 24th, we should have more idea. So I'm not confused. Is this a sign that you want outside as you're going down South Street and up against this
Yeah,
is
when
a
you come
sign
in
that.
the entrance off of South Street.
Yeah.
We kind of thought that people then can get oriented to the fact that
Right.
it's not just one cemetery, there's 5.
Right. And then what about down inside? Have you guys thought about blocking, at least at the beginning with something like this? Because my only thought is,
The individual signs
Yeah.
inside, yeah, that's not a bad idea.
It's Teddy Connor's wish. And this will put his mind at ease as well.
and my other thought is, I think the more that we do, we get a discount too with this particular company. I mean, they may be expensive right now, and you might find other companies that do similar products. But this other company, I looked on it a few months ago, and the more you do, you do get a discount to some extent, so,
Sorry.
yeah.
Just
Might be
to
somewhat
clarify.
privately funded too.
Yeah.
So
I think we
it's
take,
more,
we take care of that.
yeah,
You're
it's more
saying-
about, you know, can we all collaborate,
Collaborate.
and are you comfortable with that? And
Oh, yeah, I think it should be,
Can you help us with content?
yeah. I mean, we have 2 cemeteries in there, we should be a part of this, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So, you're saying as a placard, as you walk in, like, you walk in through the front on South Street, and then there's an informational placard, or you want it as a large sign that's like hanging out in front?
I would
Either
think it
it's-
would be like the blue signs around town are more pedestrian
Yeah.
interest
Yes.
signs. They're not directional. You're at the place, and now you see, oh, this is the place where
Right, right,
Yeah.
yeah,
something happened,
yeah,
so.
that makes more sense.
Yeah.
yeah, so, and we can down the line. And what size did you think, what size was that? You were,
Well, this is, that's a half size, 2234 is, or 2436 is full. I don't know, I gotta go measure one of the blue signs. I'm sure they have a
yeah,
definite,
yeah.
you know,
they're
Pretty
pretty
big,
size.
they're
standard,
pretty big.
yeah.
And we could put some of the notables and some of the,
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
take it to that.
I
and-
mean, half the people that go in there wandering around are looking for the murdered victims at Smutty Nose. Seriously.
I didn't even know they were buried there, huh, really? The
And the glowing
Horowitz-
gravestone's always a popular,
Which one?
the glowing gravestone, the haunted glowing gravestone.
At Point of Graves, right?
No,
No, that's
in
what it-
South.
Really?
It's reflection off the street
It,
light.
yeah, but that's a lot of people go see that. They wander in at night because they gotta go see the haunted grave.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. Maybe that's the people walking outside of my house on Broad Street, no?
John, do you have another one of these I can give to Dick Adams?
Yeah. Yep, here you go.
Okay.
One for Kevin McLeod.
Oh, I have
There's a couple
2.
extras.
Yeah, I've got 2. Do you want
I
one of
had
these?
brought 10, so this.
I've got 2.
That's
I
an
have
extra.
2.
Yep, it's all, yep.
You made my day.
Oh, good.
Well, I
Thank you,
can
John. Do
take-
you have anything else to add, or?
Just that when you talk to the city about the database,
Yeah.
and I'm sure they'll agree that it may not be that you're able to populate everything now, but it's a lot easier to set up the fields.
Yes,
So
he
later-
brought that up, yeah.
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 That was
And
one of
if you
the,
wanna put in an XY,
Yep.
you know, then later on, people can pull it up and
Yeah,
use their phone as a GPS if they're really like looking for an important grave.
we have a start of it, and it's using the same fields that the guy in Kittery, what is his name?
Bob Gray.
Bob Gray, yeah, that Bob Gray has for his database, so.
Okay, yeah, no, great, thank you.
Thank you. Good to
Thank
see
you.
Good to see you.
Having a good summer?
I want to get to Eva's postcard real quick. Do you mind going over there and bringing it up? Do you know? I think I can do it.
I can do it if I,
I think it's just up above.
is it on the,
If not, I'll haul for help. He said he'd come over.
John Shagnon is the chairman of the committee that oversees the proprietors section
Oh,
in the
okay.
cemetery.
good,
He, along with Nicholas Ashleman and Jim Andrews, are the 3 trustees.
There we are.
That
Yeah.
cemetery is owned by the South Unitarian Church,
South Church, yeah.
Which one is that?
proprietors.
Yes, I got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
that is the 6x9 size, and if you scroll, Sue, could you scroll
Yeah.
down? That's what the front looks like, and again, these are prototypes, and then the back,
I don't like this computer.
oh, maybe you can just hit the arrow? Just the
I don't-
little
If you go
arrow?
Pressing the button when you do it.
The down arrow.
Oh, down arrow.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is, what is this? Where are you?
So,
It's not my
based
computer.
on,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm not familiar with this
so
keyboard.
as I
Way
said
different than mine.
earlier, we can ask for volunteers, but we can't ask for
Maybe
money.
just click on it.
If we're going to go into some of the state-run facilities.
Where's the,
Oh,
There we
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
is that it?
Volunteer, learn, and donate. So the donate is going to have to go, that blank space on the bottom right was where the QR code was going to go. But Stephanie Secord and I will get together and we will figure it out. There is a smaller size that is 4 by 6, and you don't get, see as much on it, but I wanted to show it to you anyhow. And I wondered what you thought of the idea of assuming that there are places that there can be a QR code and we can ask for donations. Does it make sense to you to get some cards with a QR code and some not? Would you rather that we just make them up and I distribute it wherever they will take them and we'll see how it goes? Or, I didn't want to just tell Stephanie to,
I didn't know if you'd seen the meeting. Duncan was here. We're doing a postcard type thing, and we're going to distribute it all over wherever we can put it, where tourist sections are and things like that. Hotels and no, I don't know how to use this stupid computer. Oh, I did that.
I'm sorry.
Trying to get back up to the.
I don't. Is this a Mac? No, it's not, is it?
It's a Dell.
Sit up,
Is it?
sit up different.
oh, it's
Yeah, it's,
using
it does, it's not
Microsoft,
even the
so.
same. Sorry, Eva.
Oh, no, that's fine. So at any rate, all right, so that's the 6 by 9 one. You can see there's a lot of
There's a
pictures and
note.
it's clear. The 4 by 6 is,
That's up there too, that's why I'm.
it is on there, but one of the reasons that a 4 by 6 I think is agreeable is because if I get people to take them in stores, it's not as, if they put it by the cash register or something like that, it doesn't take up that much
The other one comes up.
space.
Thank you.
This,
Did you want to pull up the other one, or?
Yes.
Okay.
And what do you
And we
think
made it
of the
too big.
pictures?
Okay.
Oh, there's the smaller one.
I guess my initial question is, I
Yeah.
thought this was aimed at more getting information to have people
Thank
enjoy
you.
the cemeteries, come see our cemeteries, come spend time, as opposed to a plea for volunteers to
Right.
help in the
Right.
cemeteries.
And that was my original intention, and this is what Stephanie sent me. So we have competing, purposes, but she feels that we're driving the bus, any change can be made. I think that she's onto, like, there were some pictures I asked her to use, like the sign, for example, and she elected not to use them. But there's nothing that says that I can't go back and ask her to use other things and accentuate the history aspect of it, which is,
Right, because this is what I'm seeing with this is that is for someone, we're asking for volunteers and that's
Right,
it. That's what
right.
this is for. And then there's a little blurb on the back saying, hey, Portsmouth cemeteries are really cool, read this, but mostly we're asking for volunteers.
right.
As opposed
That,
to having.
I agree with you on that, but what do the rest of you think? I agree, I think the focus is not right.
Right.
I think that if you had, like, one of these pictures is great. So you have like a couple of pictures of the headstones or a wide shot of like North Cemetery on the front, come see our historic cemeteries. And then on the back or the inside, you have, some more stuff about the cemeteries. And then one of these pictures and say, we would love for you to volunteer
Right,
with us.
right.
So you can
Or
have
make a
both,
donation,
but
yeah.
there's,
Yeah.
or a section, the
Yeah.
QR code with donations.
I think we can do a QR code and a plea for volunteers, but in a much smaller capacity.
Right.
I think we don't want to miss the opportunity to get help, but I don't think we want to emphasize that either.
It should be a quarter, not
Right, right.
We want to draw them to the cemetery
Right,
first.
right.
Yeah.
So I think, I need to go to some of the stores and things like that next, the commercial things rather than the state-run things.
Right.
And I'll try that, and I'll refine the information, and I'll also talk to Stephanie and tell her that the focus, we would like to change the focus a bit, and, well, more than a bit, but you get what
Yeah.
I mean. But in the meantime, if you think of any place that I should go and ask them, I'm willing to do that.
Ask them if you can put things.
Yeah, yeah, interest them and take them.
Asked Cafe Killam and Cafe Von Solen, because Emma is really great about letting people post things on her
Right,
boards. Like, she
right,
always has
I
all
know.
the local
And
stuff
there are places that just have boards to put them up that may not want, a handout. But, so,
I think she has a couple of the, they're the standalone little, like, translucent that hold just single stop cards. You know what I'm talking about?
yes.
But she has that little, I
Right.
think she has
Right.
one or two of those that,
And-
you know.
And does anybody have an opinion as to the sizing?
Well, I just wanted to interject for a second. We could do two different postcards. I mean, she may not be willing to do that right now, but I don't know if this is a good one for, like, this is something that we could use online. Like, she's gone to all this work, we have this, so let's utilize it on
Okay.
platforms.
Okay.
Like, keep this, we'll keep a copy of this, and then go out and maybe not print this one.
Right, I like the other
Does she
one.
have to design anything we're putting out? Or is it something
No,
that we could design?
no, we can. I sent her the pictures and I sent her a list of things that I would like to be in the blurb. But somehow it got lost in translation. But I know Stephanie and I know that, that she's very willing to change, she'll be willing to change the focus.
And anybody's welcome to send
But I'm just
Eva.
asking, it's not a requirement that,
Oh, no.
that we have.
No,
No.
she'll take,
No,
she'll
no.
refine anything.
But she'll refine anything. I think she's extraordinarily busy also.
Yeah.
She's a one-woman shop, so to speak. So, even though I would have liked to have had it done in time for some tourists or fall tourists or something, I just don't think that's gonna happen. Especially now that I know that there are caveats in all places about, I mean, I didn't think I was gonna walk in and just tell them to take the stuff, but,
I also think we're almost a four-season tourist place now.
yes, we are.
And cemeteries, as long as they don't have snow on the ground, people will go.
There is a huge visitor center in Kennebunk, or Kennebunkport on 95. And so I wanted to target them also. It's north of us, but it's huge, and so many people stop there. It's a big, big center.
All right, before we just call it to an end.
Thank
for
you,
people to go,
everyone.
Yeah, I gotta go.
You're welcome to send any ideas you have about these postcards
Oh, Lord, yes, please
to
do.
Eva.
Okay.
And,
Please
she's
do.
just the interface with Stephanie, so, the final product is what we'll all decide.
If you want to CC me in on emails too.
Okay.
We'll talk,
Sure.
going with this, I'm happy to.
Hey, wait, we have to call the meeting officially to an end. Who has to,
I propose we end the meeting.
I second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye, thank you, guys.